of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Let's try to get through this today and get ready for the holidays, correct? Do we have any agenda items, additions or deletions? We still need Steve to vote on it. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay.
Agenda 1 would be...
Oh,
What's that? I can't hear you.
Attendance.
Yes.
Yeah.
we still have to wait on Steve, don't we?
Then take it rolling now.
Yeah, okay. We'll do roll call. Melanie?
Present.
John Gilliland's president. Steve will be here in a minute. Harry Mullenhour.
Present.
Steve Nelson absent. Glenn Snyder. Present. Here. Tabitha Trent is absent. And one vacant. And Steve Hargraves, present? Okay. All right. Item number 3, consent agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions?
Mr. Chairman, in your board member package that was delivered Monday, we did have some late additions, 2A through 2F. It's in your, do you have the board package that was sent out yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
No, from yesterday?
Was it yesterday, Michelle? Monday?
Okay.
Do you have it?
I'm not sure. Harry has it here.
It's just all the invoices mostly.
Do I need to read them? I need to read them?
I don't think so. You can.
Okay.
Yes.
You want it?
Does anybody
Wants to pull anything.
Anybody want to change anything? Any additions or deletions? Do we have a vote to accept?
I'll make a motion to approve the
Motion, yeah.
invoices and the additions or deletions.
Do you have a second? Second. First by Mr. Mullenhour, second by Mr. Hargraves. Any other discussion? All those who approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Passes. Before we get too far into it, we have a recognition from our flag for our attorney, Tom Connolly.
Jamie?
So, I've known Tom for a long time. Actually, he's related to my wife. So, his wife is related to my wife, put it that way, yep. So, been a great addition to this board for many years. I didn't get to work with him that much, but I know we all appreciate it, and we value his friendship and his guidance over the years. So, like everybody, come down front.
If the board members could come down front, and Tom
Take
will...
a picture.
Part of history, Mr. Connolly. Since day one. You can go right down here.
Squeeze it. Where's your flag? Where's your flag?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody looking up? Take a cheese for a smile.
Smile.
All right.
Tom, thank you very much for your time.
It's been quite a ride, I'm telling you. It's been quite a ride.
Now you can retire.
No, I still got the school board.
Okay.
I still got the school board. I don't want to turn them loose yet. It's bad timing. But Melanie and Steve and I have seen a
Been
lot.
through it together.
We don't know it all. They've already done away with my name. I notice over here.
It's right here on the desk.
I'm not even a pitch hitter. I'm not even a bat boy. But I'm gonna sit here and watch you guys today.
Mr. Conley, you're in the Hall of Fame now.
I don't know about that. I appreciate that comment. Thank you. Thank you. That's the best thing I can say.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to represent this board. I've enjoyed it. And it's an honor to say I represent the OUA. I've always been proud to say that.
Will and always will.
But it's a very good functioning board. And it's on the cusp of development. All development should come through this board. Matter of fact, that was one of the things I said when I interviewed years ago for the position. And I wouldn't have even done that, but a board member called me and said, look, we need an attorney. Come over here. They were in the old courthouse then. Come over here and tell this board you would like the job. That's all you got to do. Well, I came over there and I said, I've never really interviewed for a job before. This is my first go, but I promise you I'll do the best I know how to do. And Mr. Mariana, in his forceful way, got me the job. And I've been here ever since. And it's been quite a ride. There have been some real cliffhangers while I've been the attorney. But this board is functioning well. It's outgrown the creator, the city. The board, I think our budget is larger than the city's budget now. And there's still a little friction, but this OUA board needs to be involved with every development. It's important, and I don't think the public realizes how important this board is and how far-reaching the decisions that it makes goes. It's been a pleasure. It's been a good ride, and yes, I promised John I would sit, no offense to you, my friend, that I would be behind the scenes if you needed me. So I'm not going anywhere. That's a promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll miss you, Tom.
I don't know about that.
Okay, agenda item number 4.
3.
3, okay. Y'all keep me straight. I'm not seasoned at this. Oh, the consent agenda. Any comments? Any,
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
have a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Mollenhauer and a second. All those in favor?
Snyder.
Mr. Snyder. Apologize, I'm not seasoned at this, man. So, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Okay, now we'll move on to number 4. See, I can't read that up there. My glasses are not good enough for that. John, what do we have here?
This would be the next item after the consent agenda is item 14, approval of the meeting minutes for the meeting held on November 17th, 2024. This is agenda item 14.
Any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes? So moved by Mr. Snyder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mollenhauser. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, you have employee recognition, John?
There are no employees for anniversary this month, so we'll
Okay.
skip through it.
You know, last month, and it kind of got covered up when I asked a little bit of background on the 3 that we recognized. Just for our information. Do you remember who they were?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The 3 employees that we recognized last month.
Jimmy Donatello.
Jamie Gamatia was one of them.
Tammy.
It'd be,
Tina Carver.
Tina Carver.
Yeah.
And Crispin
Crispin
Butcher.
Boteri.
Okay, but I know Jamie, but I didn't know the other 2. That's why I asked a little information about them, or is that,
Oh, I'm
would that be
sorry.
okay to do it now?
I can tell you a little bit about them. The Crispin Buteri works at our maintenance department, does a lot of the special projects that need to be done, like construction inspection. I think he's also the FOG, isn't he? He's a fats, oil, and grease inspector for all the restaurants around.
Okay,
And then Tina Carver, was that the other one?
Yep.
She is a clerk out front, been with us a number of years. Handles all the customer new connections and paying bills, things of that nature.
Will Hartman was at 5 years.
Was,
Will Hartman.
but he wasn't,
Mhm.
no, he wasn't one of
Was
them.
on the list.
Crispin.
Crispin,
Crispin, okay.
Crispin
Carver,
is
and Gamatia. Gamatia is our wastewater treatment plant supervisor that hit 30 years, so he'll be retiring pretty
Yeah.
soon.
okay.
And then the other 2, Crispin and Tina.
Yeah, I was just curious to know a little bit about them.
We could probably start adding that to each month, for what department they're in and what they do for us.
Be good.
Okay.
Agenda item number 16.
We are following a slightly different agenda format. That's why you're seeing things a little different this month. So we're ending up with any public comments at this time before we get into the agenda.
Do you have any comments from the public this time?
None?
Open the floor, no comments. Need-
So with the new format, Mr. Chairman and board members, we're now getting into what we're going to be terming the discussion agenda. It's overall is 17. But the first item in the discussion agenda that we have up is agenda item number 18, which is a Southwest Service Area Project 2, change order number 4. Jeff Sumner, is here as the engineer of record to answer any questions on change order number 4. But it's fairly straightforward. There has been a disruption in the contractor. HGI, one of their subcontractors, was killed. And it was this very small firm, so that firm is having to pick up the pieces, and it's been caused for a delay in some of their work product. And so the request was made for adding 45 days to their contract time. USDA, OUA staff, and the engineer do not have any issues with that time request, but it is a change to the contract between this board and the contractor. So it has to require a change order in effect to change contract time by adding the 45 days.
One question, how much would additional engineering inspection and oversight cost us?
I'll direct that to Mr. Sumner.
Harry, I don't know that it's going to cost anything. We've got a little bit of extra budget built in. We'll obviously know more as we get closer to the end of the job, but we'll minimize that, as much as we possibly can. And it may be nothing.
Thanks, Jeff.
And some of the reason for that, Harry, is that it's time and materials. So unless it really created more work at the end, there really won't be the time and materials. But there is a possibility for that.
Will that affect the other contractors?
No, sir. There is no other pending contract. This is it, so.
Do we have a motion to accept the change order?
So moved.
Mr. Snyder makes a motion to approve the change order number 4. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Hargraves. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Change order number 5.
So agenda item number 19 is construction engineering services to connect the vacuum station 4, which is under construction now, up to the new regional pump station on the old school board property. We had to connect that by way of a force main. That force main is actually the northern segment of Project 3, which is the Okatani force main. This is providing essentially engineering, construction, inspection services during construction for that force main, of which you're going to see later on today approving the bid package. We've already approved the materials for purchase last month, and this is a continuation of that project now that we're ready to go to construction. So this would be, if approved, is a $31,380 proposal from SEC to do that construction inspection.
Do I have a motion to accept change order 19?
So moved.
Mr. Mullenhour makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder. Any more discussion? All those approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Change order number 20.
So, number 20, agenda item number 20 is, this is the actual results of the sealed bids that we took for the vac station number 4 force main bids. Again, Mr. Sumner is here to answer any questions you might have. We received these 4 bids with Go Underground Utilities LLC providing the lowest, most responsive bid at $658,650. There is a series of motions to review and discuss as highlighted here at the bottom of the agenda. But again, the staff or Mr. Sumner are here to answer any questions concerning this bid.
Anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to accept?
So the first item is to accept the recommendation of the award letter provided by Sumner Engineering and Consulting, Inc., listing Go Underground Utilities as the apparent lowest, most responsive bidder. That is the first motion we'd like to make.
So moved.
Motion to accept, or motion from Mr. Snyder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hargraves. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes.
The second motion that would like to present is to accept and make award to Go Underground Utilities, Inc. as the apparent lowest, most responsive bidder in the amount of $658,650 for the vacuum station number 4 force main.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Snyder. Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The third item up for consideration is to authorize OUA Board Chairman and staff to execute the notice of award letter to Go Underground Utilities, Inc.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Snyder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, the fourth motion would be to, once the contractor receives the notice of award, there are certain elements that they have to supply back to the OUA in the form of insurance, bonds, the signed agreement, et cetera, that's in the board package. They're all outlined. What his staff is requesting is that once we receive those documents and they are in order as determined by the engineer of record, that the OUA board is authorizing the board chairman and staff to execute any of those documents as needed, as well as to issue the notice to proceed to the contractor.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Snyder. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. We're moving on to number 22, John.
21 is my next one, sir. Agenda item number 21 is the repair of the emergency generator at the surface water treatment plant. There is a control panel on this generator that has become somewhat illegible, so that if there are codes to be known or processes, it's very hard to read it. It does not, the generator still functions, but we kind of need this panel to better serve the employees there that are running the generator. So it is through Ring Power is a Cat diesel generator manufacturer. So we got a quote from them, and you'll find that in your board package, that there are actually two quotes. One to do the repairs, the replacement of the generator panel at $22,576.47 for an OEM product. And because the generator will have to be taken out of service, we're required to have an emergency backup power source, which means we will need to rent a generator for the time period that our main backup generator is out of service. That rental rate is an additional $17,041. So we would like to have either a grouped motion to approve both of these expenses, or you can break it out into individual.
Is that panel exposed to sunlight, John?
No, sir.
And it still went out?
It went out. It's, I'm gonna guess it's almost 20-something years old, 20 years old, thereabouts.
How long is it gonna be out of, how long is it be out of service?
4 days, they're estimating. So that's a weekly rental rate.
4 days rental.
Just to bring it in, set it up, it's probably.
It's a semi-tractor trailer rig. It's, most of it, I think you'll see the agenda that the actual rental rate is, let's see, is $6,700 out of the 17. So it's 10,000 in environmental fees and setup and delivery. It's a lot of money.
Okay. Any other questions? Do we have a motion to accept both proposals in one packet?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mullenhour. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Snyder. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes. Okay, John, number 22 now.
So, agenda item number 22 is for the Pine Ridge Park vacuum collection system. That is the newest collection system. And as such, we are, with technology where it is today, they actually offer up a monitoring package that will assist our employees in troubleshooting, or actually in the operation of the system, to check on how many times a valve fires, what the available vacuum is, how long it's been in operation. It's basically an operational tool. And what you have here is the cost to install it, and essentially the operation cost is rolled into it for the first year. But the total expense is $127,542.14 for the manufacturer of the vacuum system to do this work.
So what's this gonna do for us?
So like I said, it's a operational tool that the employees get to carry on their phones, where they can remotely look at the unit to see where the problem is, if there is a problem. So in responding, they should know exactly where the problem is to go to it, as opposed to the hunt and seek method to see where there might be a hung valve or blockage in the system. It's an operational tool.
Would this fit on the other vac systems that we have?
Once we pay for the overall operational cost, we can put as many more units on and it won't change that operating cost. The actual installation, the materials will be the same. It will cost us something.
What does it mean, tax on sales versus tax exempt?
There should not be any tax on sales. Did they add the tax?
No.
Okay, I thought it was zero. But there should not be any tax. Because we're purchasing it directly. If the contractor, let's say, that installed the system was purchasing it, yes, then they would be paying tax.
What's been our experience in, say, Taylor Creek Isles with a vacuum system similar to this? Have we had problems with it?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
We've had to chase down?
Yes, sir, absolutely, and it's ours.
So it's very beneficial then to have this for...
Well, we thought we would try it, and then we'd be able to monitor the two, Backstation 1 and 2, to see if this one is significantly different. If so, then we would look at retrofitting 1 and 2 to add this system to those also. But when the procedure is when you get a low vacuum alert at the station, there's a series of 2 or 3 pipes that leave the vacuum station going in different directions. You close 2 of the 3 valves and you see if the vacuum system comes back into play. And if it does, then your problem isn't on that segment. You open up a second pipe. You're going to lose a little bit of vacuum, but it will build back up. If it does, then you know the problem is in the third one. And then, and only then, you open it up and you start at the vacuum station and you work out from there, checking to see where the leak is. What this monitoring system does, because it's all throughout the whole system, it will automatically tell you when the first valve that hung open that caused the problem, and you can drive directly there. So it may save hours worth of troubleshooting.
That'd be my question. What would be the payback?
Hours of troubleshooting.
Interesting.
So it's, with technology and it's nice to be able to kind of try the new gadgets to see if they work. And I would not recommend doing this to the entire systems. We start with one and see if it works.
Can they control that system at all with their phone then, or just...
I don't think so. I think it's passive. It's monitoring. It's not actually controlling. But I'll have to get that confirmed. But I don't think so.
As far as the installation, does the smart device or whatever stick up? Is it going to be, subject to vandalism or somebody hitting it with a lawnmower? Or?
So a lot of questions there. Is it subject to vandalism? Well, almost anything is, right, to a certain extent. But there is already an air vent in a pedestal for each of these, and much of the equipment goes up in that pedestal. So it's out of the weather, out of sight, out of mind. Does that mean that somebody can't run over it with a power truck or yeah, that can always happen.
But it would be installed within the air vent or on that pedestal? So there's not a separate pedestal?
I think it's not a separate pedestal. These are what the pedestals look like. So they put a solar panel instant and it goes inside that monitoring device. But that is at each of something similar to that is at each of the vacuum pits.
Yeah.
Because that's where the air is actually allowed to go into. The primary purpose was it's an air vent for the vacuum pit, but the remote monitoring system is going to be put up in that pedestal also.
How do they know now, John, when there's a blockage?
The way it is now, the SCADA system is installed at the vacuum pump station. And so that's remotely into the surface water treatment plant. And what they might get there is called a low vacuum alarm. So that if the vacuum drops below, I forget what the set point is, but usually it's around, I think it's around 9 or 10 inches of mercury, it gets a low vacuum alert. And that's when we have to send somebody to the vacuum pump station, because there is no system monitoring, and start from there and work out. With this, you should be able to circumvent the water plant. It ought to go to somebody's phone and get an alert on the phone. They can bring up the app and actually go through the different stations to see which one where it occurred first, and that's where they should go to.
Each one of these units needs its own separate battery?
There has to be that source at each of those vacuum pits, yes, sir.
What are the batteries costing?
It's solar powered, so I guess you probably have to change those every 3 or 4 years, and I do not know what a specific battery cost is. I think this is all grouped together down here. Solar bundle for the gateway. So I don't know what the actual battery is.
Sounds good to me, John. I don't know what the other board members are thinking, but it saves labor.
Well, I think long-term, it cuts down on response time and gets it back to running. So it's something that we've looked at for a long time, and we figured now it's time to try it on a brand-new system.
Any other questions from the board?
No, he's convinced me.
Yeah. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Mullenhour, a second by Mr. Snyder. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Keep us up to date, John. on that.
Yes, sir, will do.
Okay, number 23.
This is the Taylor Creek Isles septic to sewer project. There, unfortunately, they didn't get us the information that I requested, so this will have to be moved for the January 25th meeting. Essentially what it is, there's 15 homes in Taylor Creek Isles that had not connected to the central sewer system when it was installed, never did. We went through with the county's help, code enforcement, and the state assistance grant that we got, developed a project where we could connect those 15 homes to the sewer. That has been done. They're connected. What I did not get from the contractor is the permitting, release from permitting for the county health department or the building department, that the work that they did was complete and the permit was satisfied. I did not get that information yet, so the final pay request is going to be held till January because the package was incomplete.
Okay, thank you. So number 24, billing notices.
This is provided for informational purposes at the previous board meetings. The connection charges were extended a reduced rate till December 31st. This is just provided as informational purposes only. Staff, we were very busy sending out a lot of letters to the known projects that were under design. So I'm sorry, did I get this wrong? I read this wrong. I'm sorry, that's the next one. This is for Kings Bay. Water main extension. We extended the water main from Kings Bay down to connect several businesses. The project was concluded and placed into service, so this is more of a project closeout. One of the first things would be to do approval of change order number 1, which happens to be a deductive change order to remove the remaining contingency money of $24,700 from the contract. When that is approved, the final request is for a final payment request of $183,184 to B&B Site Development. And then the project is in its closeout stages. It's been certified by DEP. We've gotten the record drawings. We've gotten some of the documentation, but that project is essentially complete and in service, and we've already got some new customers down there.
Good. Is this two separate motions, or?
You can, I would prefer that you do them in separate, because we have to have the change order number 1 approved, before doing the final pay request.
I move to approve that change order to deduction.
Second. Have a motion by Mr. Snyder to approve the change order and a second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed, like sign? We have a motion to approve the second part. Mr. Snyder?
What was the second part again?
To pay them.
It's a final payment to the contractor in the amount of, what, $183,184.
Approve final payment then.
I have a motion by Mr. Snyder to approve final payment. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hargraves. Any further discussion?
You did one?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes. Okay, John?
Sorry, I was moving ahead quickly.
Confused me.
I get confused easily. Customer billing. Sorry, let me go back up and regroup here. The reduction in the rates was extended from October 1st through December 31st. As staff, we were sending out a lot of letters to projects that are under construction, under design, known elements. And what you see here are those projects, Southwest Service Area. I'll just do the first one. It was 132 letters that we sent out. Of those 132 letters, 20 came in to sign up, 10 paid in full and 10 did payment agreements. Southwest 5th Avenue, another project, 113 letters sent out. You can see the numbers that came in to sign up. Kings Bay Water Main Extension that we just approved, 8 sign-ups out of the 11 letters sent. There's a project going north up 441 from Cemetery Road up to Hilliard to the new South Florida Water Management District Service Center. 7 letters were sent out. We haven't heard back. I think by the time this was written, we hadn't heard anything, but since then, I think we've had people that have come in and signed up since this was sent out Thursday. And then Mallard Landing is another gravity sewer project up just north of the railroad track on the east side of 441. 27 letters have been sent out. I know we've had 4 or 5 people that have come in and paid since this document was prepared last Wednesday or Thursday. So again, just this is informational purposes. We have been busy. We were terribly busy Monday, yesterday. There are more people coming in, but that deadline for the reduction is coming up on the 31st.
Thank you, John, and let everybody know, I mean, personally, I really appreciate the effort to do this. It's been a concern of mine, but I think in the end, if we do have people come in that have a complaint, this is going to be good information to share with them. Say, look, we made the effort, you know, why didn't you?
Well, in all the ones that didn't get the letter, we did, as you saw in your billing statement, on the billing statement, we added a comment, and that they were getting electronic bills and electronic record. So we've done it on social media. We've done a lot of notification. There's been help from folks that have had other comments that have spiced phone calls and brought people in. So it's out there. It's known. I don't know what else we could do to make it any better, except somebody said we should have rented a plane with a flying banner, but I don't know.
Well, again, I do appreciate it personally. I think it was a great effort on the OUA staff's part to do this. Okay, number 25.
So that was 25. We're now up to 26. This is your last stab at the delegation meeting. It is coming up January 8th. In your board package, you will find the announcement that it is coming up on the 8th. And then Steve Nelson is projected to be there to do the presentation of these projects. If not, I will be there. And it is the same projects that we as a board approve, which is the Southwest 5th Avenue. Again, another septic to sewer owner assistance package. And then the AMI, the advanced metering infrastructure. Those are the ones that would be actually a financial request. The other ones would then be support of accessing the Cemetery Road treatment plant property, as well as assisting in the Glades County in getting a treatment plant for the Buckhead Ridge lakefront area. So again, it's January 8th, I believe is the time here at the Okeechobee. If y'all want to show up, that's great. But we will be there to make this presentation to our legislative delegation.
Very good.
This is what the package will look like. All of these items will be in there. So unless there's any comments, I mean, it was just really provided as informational purposes.
Moving on.
So we're up to agenda item number 27, which would be any staff reports. We have certainly Jamie Mullis here for operations. It would be the first option. If you're inclined to hear from Mr. Mullis, he'll be happy to give his presentation on his report.
Sure.
Any questions on my report? Been a busy month, a lot of stuff going on. I can go through each item or answer any question y'all have.
Why don't you give us a quick overview of it?
Yeah, just a quick overview. We had a safety meeting last month, actually this month, December the 12th. Surface water plants working on general maintenance. Greg Kennedy's made a couple of site visits to the surface water plant. Found a couple of minor items, all have been corrected, just for somebody, see another set of eyes on it, see if you can see
It's
anything.
like maintenance items? These are like maintenance items?
Yes, there was a screen had been blown out of the filter gallery. There'd been a small hydraulic oil spill in the shop floor, which needed to be cleaned up. And there was a leak in the treated water coming in to have at the ozone injection point, and that has been repaired. Just the PVC fitting that had leaked, so fairly minor issues. They were all addressed quickly.
Maintenance, another safety committee meeting, the Southeast 4th Street, y'all probably seen it downtown by Aldi's. That's a lot of construction going on with the DOT project with drainage. We had a 10-inch water main that had to be deflected out of the way, and we completed that last week. And general maintenance and maintenance as well. Wastewater treatment plant safety committee meeting, general maintenance. Greg had made a site visit to all the individual wastewater treatment package plants and found a couple of minor issues at each location. Some of the items have been corrected and the remainder of them are being addressed as we speak. So,
What were those, Greg?
There was some broken conduit where wire was exposed, where the conduit was going into a junction box. There's a couple junction boxes, the covers were not in place, so there's exposed, coated wire with wire nuts, but still exposed to the weather. And we had a blower blowers out of service. We're running a single blower at Everglades Elementary wastewater treatment plant and the Okeechobee treatment plant. So blowers have been ordered and are in the process, and will get installed once they're received. So it's just a redundant system that there are 2 air blowers at each of those small package plants, and one of them was down at each.
Any other questions?
How do you address these issues when you see them like that? Is that brought back at a safety meeting or a manager's meeting, or how's that addressed so people are paying more attention to these things?
These were addressed, Greg took pictures, sent them out to each supervisor, and they took notice right upon receiving that.
Okay.
And some of those, he had spoke about, like your Okeechobee wastewater plant, something's going down in that area eventually. We're not limping along, but, we don't want to go and spend a whole lot of money there.
Right.
But we do want to keep that thing up and running.
Yeah, that's great that you're doing second set eyes inspections.
Yeah, I'm trying to familiarize myself with more of the equipment and, again, look at it with a fresh perspective and just kind of generally give them an overall inspection. I'm writing a basic inspection report, including photographs where they're, at food advantage. And I think overall it has helped, and communicating that by email to the responsible supervisor, copying the operations director, giving us kind of a means of tracking and asking again for them to respond item by item as to what's been done and, where we are and the items still outstanding.
Good.
All right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next item number 29, is a report from our esteemed finance director.
I don't know about esteem, but the board members, very briefly, I know that we have a short cutoff time period, but just to state that at the last board meeting, we stated that with the first month and the second month, the revenue are expected to be a little behind the budget. But we know that within like the month 4, month 5, we will start to exceed the budget based on how the budget is established. So presently, the revenue, it has increased from 90% to 93.7% of the budget. So the projection is going good, and we know that by somewhere about month 4, month 5, we will start to exceed the cumulative budget, that is. So for the month of November, we are tracking as planned in terms of the revenue and expenses as well. We continue to be behind the budget. There's a number of maintenance and expenditures which we are projected to have later on in the year. So all in all, in the summary of what we have here in November, it's expected tracking a little behind the budget, but we know that within a short time period, we will start to be ahead in terms of the revenue, and we hope to maintain to be behind on the expenses. There are some supporting diagrams and graphs which shows where the results are presently and compared to previous year performance. If there's any question, I will gladly try to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions, board members? Do I have a motion to approve the budget?
This would be to, yes, sir, we need for the finance director accept the report as presented. If someone is so inclined to make that motion.
Motion to accept the report as presented.
So moved.
Motion moved by Mr. Snyder. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mullenhour. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes. agenda item number 30 from our attorney.
Good morning. Very quickly, 3 items. Pine Ridge Park. So, Mr. Director, we've been working with John about the abandonment of the existing system, trying to induce those customers to connect to the new system. And really, the main legal issue has been whether or not it is lawful to abandon, and you might say leave those customers within uninhabitable premises. It is. And so then the question that follows is, what additional steps do we take? So I would suggest we do another round of mailers. This time we do them certified, and then after that, if I have to, because of the small number of clients, I'll do a call around. You know, after all, I'm the attorney for the OUA. Maybe that will dislodge some activity. But for now, just so you're aware, we can do it. It's just a question of what the optics are and what the next steps might be. That's one big issue. Hinterland Group is a case that it's a civil matter involving a contract. We are tracking it. I'm aware of it. Nothing's going to happen in that case, at least through the holidays. And when it does, I would prefer to brief you individually just because it's in litigation and discussing it involves some attorney mental work product that I prefer to discuss so that it doesn't become part of the public record. The last thing was the agenda update. We want to thank you for adopting our recommended updates to the agenda. Hopefully that'll help. At least it'll help John Romero, I'll tell you that. He's seemed pretty hot on it. So that's all. Thank you.
I have a question on the Pine Ridge Park. What's the issue there?
Sure. You know, Mr. Hayford might be more technically expert at this, but the bottom line is we are in a situation where we've been offering these clients for I don't know how long connection to a fresh, brand new system. They have septic systems, and they have been unresponsive to our request to do that. And it's been mostly through correspondence. I assume there's been some call around at some point, and yet we just can't get them to take what we want to give them, which is a, you know, new system. And so what do? You know, how do you get them to connect to the system? It was going to be free. Now I think we're at the point where we should be charging them for our efforts to link them up. So, Mr. Hayford.
So, Mr. Molnar, we actually have 2 different situations there. One, as they alluded to, we have the folks that are on septic tanks that have not connected to our new system. By the state statute that says they shall connect, and the county's land development regulations that say they shall connect, those folks who have remained on the septic tanks and not connected to our system and not answering our letters or addressing it, they're going to be referred to code enforcement. And code enforcement has the mechanisms in place where they can move this along. The one that is a little more problematic go way back into time when Pine Ridge was a private utility, where the owner abandoned it to the Public Service Commission. They in turn gave it to DEP. DEP gave it to the county. The county looked at us, and we were the last one standing when the music ended. So the court system assigned it to us as the receiver. Our task was to find a buyer. Well, they don't abandon systems that make money. They're abandoning systems that are going to cost. There's no buyer, so ultimately the OUA ended up with this system. We have a group of homes that are connected to an older gravity sewer system that is in their backyards. This recent project moved the sewer connections out front to the front of the house. Well, this last group of people never recognized the OUA as the utility, never signed a service agreement with us. The problem lies that they pay their bills, but they've never signed the service agreement, and they've never authorized us to move their line from behind their house to the front. And we would like to abandon that system. Herein lies the question for all of our esteemed attorneys. If we don't have a service agreement with them, and their previous supplier, the older privately held utility, where's our responsibility lie? Because they're connected and they recognize a utility that doesn't exist anymore. We don't have a service agreement. where is that legality? And that's kind of the rub, because as a utility, we would like to abandon the gravity sewer, but if they haven't signed a service agreement, can we get on their property to make the connection, even though it was gonna be free?
Right.
It was gonna be free by the contract that y'all provided. They still didn't want it. So we're kind of in this quandary, that I don't see, where that path forward is yet. And I don't know what our steps are gonna be.
How many homes are there?
Handful, 6, 7?
And their response, why they don't want it?
No contact. Early on, their answer was, I already paid my fees, I joined whatever the name of the utility was, Gadsden or something. That's who I have service from. Well, they don't exist. They abandon it.
So this will be the second abandonment.
Yes, sir. Well,
You abandoned.
they abandon it in total. What we're trying to do is to abandon the gravity sewer in the backyard because it's old, we can't get to it, fences, dogs, I mean, it's just a bad situation. That's why we moved everything out front.
And we don't have easements to go on their property to.
I would believe there probably is easements associated with the original plat,
Oh, okay.
not individual easements from the property owners. But I didn't stay at the hotel last night, so I don't know all these things. If you go back to those commercials, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, because I have to leave it to our professional attorneys to give us some guidance as to how this is going to transpire, but I believe it's going to have to head that way. We've sent them certified letters, we've put letters on their gates, we've mailed letters. I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario?
Worst case scenario,
For them?
for them,
Yeah,
if you're talking to me,
yeah.
we just go in and cut them loose and their house becomes uninhabitable. I mean, they've been given options. We would like to abandon this old leaking sewer, and we have a perfectly good one out front. We provided options where it wouldn't have cost them anything. I mean, it would just sign the service agreement, allow us to come on your property, and we'll do the work. Nothing. I mean, you can't get better than free.
Is that option still open?
The contractor is pretty much gone now. So unless we now had to go out and pay for a contractor, I mean, that could always be there, but I don't know that that would benefit them, because they already had a option to do it for free when all this work was being done, and they didn't exercise it. I don't know what else we can do, short of being ugly.
Yeah.
Abandon it and report it to code enforcement.
So it's an ongoing saga. We'll keep you appraised, but I really don't know what else we can do.
So at this point, code enforcement is trying to handle it?
For those that are on septic tank and didn't connect, the next step for us will be, we will send notices to code enforcement, the county, and then they will get involved. They are not involved yet. We're trying to do this letter period, grace period, and then we'll send it out.
So what happens if they say, okay, I've changed my mind, you can hook up to the front? How much is it gonna cost me? Now, it was free then, how much is it gonna cost me now?
The property owner,
Yeah,
I think our contracted price was, is it $1,100? Something like that. It was $1,100, because there is no septic tank to pump out, because they're connected to our gravity. It's just find out where it leaves the house and run the pipe out to the road. So it's not a lot of money.
right.
Code enforcement wouldn't be involved in those houses because until we shut off their gravity line, right?
I'll have to explore that with them. I know when they when a septic tank does not connect to an available gravity sewer, or, the sewer out front,
Yeah.
then that is a violation of their land development regulations, and it's easy for code enforcement. There is a slight possibility, because the stretch would be that it could become a public health threat because of the gravity sewer failing, that they could get involved because it's a public health threat. But I don't know that. I'd have to explore that with them.
All right, thank you.
Can you give them a drop dead date? Say, if you do it, you have to fish or cut bait by this date, or you're done.
That's when we start getting over into the more ugly zones, and yes, we could
And
do
it's
that.
been 30 days, right? Or tomorrow, I think, is 30 days since
Oh,
the last.
these people have had notice for months, years. So we'll just keep you appraised. I mean, it's something that's going to be ongoing. I don't know how it's going to be resolved. We'll keep working at it, trying to come up with a different carrot or something to help lead them in.
So what's the process gonna be if they agree at this point?
The two.
We gonna hire a contractor to come in, or we gonna do that work in-house?
Well, the option right now is they would get their own contractor to do the work and pay for it. But if it was the type of deal that said we would connect, I would suggest that we would pay for it, because we paid for all the other homes to be connected. And getting those 6 people to connect is by far the easiest, cheapest route, if we pay for it.
Can you put it to them that way? That, okay,
I'd be happy.
Free now for the next month if you do it. If not, you're gonna have to pay for it yourself.
I'd be willing to send one more set of letters that way.
They know they're gonna have to pay and how much it's gonna cost, and you're gonna lose either way, because they're gonna have to hook up to the front. Unless you just wanna throw money away.
Would the next letter say, we are going to abandon the gravity sewer then?
I think we've already said that.
Oh, you've already said that.
Well, we said that was the impetus why we had to move out front, is we were abandoning the gravity sewer behind your house.
Yeah.
Can we put a date on that abandonment?
The contractor's ready, willing, and able to do it tomorrow. They have not.
So it shows us homeowners, hey, we're done at this
This is the
date.
drop dead date.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be flowing in your yard.
This is the last time that it'll be free. If you tell people, I think people understand when it hits their pocketbook. If you tell them how much it's gonna cost them, or it's gonna happen one way or the other, it can either be free or it can cost them. And it puts it in sort of stark terms. Because it's gonna happen anyway.
Are they aware of what the cost would be if they have to pay out of their own pocket?
I don't think so.
That might be something to add on there.
And we couldn't do that work in-house, that's what I should phone up, right?
No.
Yeah, we don't, as Jamie said, we would have to get a licensed plumber, and because the building department's involved, we're not necessarily permitted to work on private property, so we'd get a licensed plumber, GC, somebody to do that work.
So that quote would be information for them. This is what you're gonna have to pay.
Okay.
What kind of legal liabilities do we have if we abandon the system?
Sure. None. Doesn't mean we won't get sued, but ultimately, none. And so, you're asking, so John and I, this will cost more than just getting people to comply using letters. But the other way to do it is that we take the initiative and actually file suit for injunctive relief and get the court to order them to allow us onto the property in order to do the work. Guess what? Then we're definitely eating the cost of the work, right? And then the cost of filing, and that whole thing. All of which is to say the optics are just so different when we do it that way. When either we become the subject of a suit or we initiate a suit. That's why, letter writing campaign is what we're doing right
Is there
now.
any statutory?
Do the water
purpose?
Nazis at that point.
Yeah.
No, for them.
Must all be related or something, and stick together.
So we'll come up with something. We'll try to get it out quickly because, we'd like to get this resolved.
Good luck. Any other questions for our attorney? So we'll move on. Agenda item 31.
So item 31 is my standard report. Again, most of these projects are moving along. Pine Ridge obviously is past contracted time. We're trying to work it out and close it, but like I say, we are working through them. We're getting closer. Fifth Avenue is under design. The 441 water main is completed. Treasure Island is under design. We just submitted the 30% review on the south system last week. State Road 78, I will tell you that project is almost done, phase one. They're cutting the road today to remove the last of the 6-inch water main. Thursday, they will do the asphalt repair, and essentially they could be done with this project by this week. As far as the physical work, then they just do the project closeout, record drawings, release from liens, that type of deal. But we probably should be done with this project within the next couple weeks. We're waiting on phase two for that project. Been told that some permitting's been held up by the Army Corps of Engineers and DEP for the crossing at Limpkin Creek. That's all we're waiting on. Once we get those two permits, or the determination that a permit's not needed from either one of those two parties, then we'll be ready to go to bid on phase two.
How do you cross Limpkin Creek, John?
The plan right now is to do a directional drill underneath Limpkin Creek. So I'm not even sure why the permitting is such a big deal. We're going to be about 15 feet plus under Limpkin Creek. We're not going to impact. The idea is that, yes, we will have a water main within, under the state property. Is there a potential for damage during construction? Obviously, there's always a potential for a frack out or a blowout while they're doing the directional drill, but we're going to be so deep underneath it, I just don't see it. But they have to go through the steps of the ERP and the Army Corps permitting. So they're talking it might be February before we get a response. Many months. But that'll complete phase two. We already have proposals for the next 3 phases, which will get us all the way to the Buckhead Ridge Tower. We're trying to work through a cost-sharing arrangement with the developer. Once all that's completed, we'll bring it back to the board for review and discussion. All the rest of it, TCI, should be done by the January meeting. And we've had informational meetings with the with South Florida Water Management District on our CUP allocation. As I understand it right now, all of the documentation has been supplied to the district. They're doing their review and preparation of a presentation to the governing board to see if we can get that consumptive use allocation raised to our maximum limit of our treatment plant capacity. So we're doing a lot of things.
Thoughts on how likely that is to occur?
Very.
Lots of thoughts. As far as the outcome, we're positive that the outcome is going to be there.
Excellent.
I've got a proposal that's coming in tomorrow for a possible exploratory treatment method on our groundwater plant that they tell us up and down that they can remove the hardness very easily without producing a lot of waste. So might be entertaining a thought with them of doing a pilot demonstration project on the groundwater system to see how well if it works as promised. If it does, then there may be a very viable alternative to do some improvements to the groundwater plant and bring it back online.
And what's the maximum capacity of that groundwater plant?
1 million gallons a day. And we're at 5 million gallons a day at the surface water treatment plant. Total is around 3 million gallons a day, so we're at about 50%. On the wastewater plant, it's 4 million gallons a day, and we're running right at about 1 million. So we got about 25% capacity there, so, of use. So we're good. I will tell you that if any of these big developments happen that are planned, we will have to begin pretty soon the exploratory process of where we get our new water source from. Because from day one, if you get a green light, I'm telling you to go from the green light to get started to actually flipping the switch and turning it on, it's probably a 2.5, 3 year process. It's a long time.
Yeah.
You have to identify the source, then it's design and permitting, and then construction. It's 2.5, 3 years. So we don't.
Yeah.
It's going to start pretty soon if these developments happen.
Are you still gonna be around 2.5 to 3 years?
No, sir.
That was quick.
I will get it started.
Interesting.
I've got, that'll be, it won't happen right away, but I mean, when that time comes, then that will be a board decision as far as my replacement, how you want to go about doing it. I can tell you that the process that's been looked at in the past is this board created an outside source, business leaders to screen for a new executive director. They've hired a placement service, a headhunting firm, to bring in candidates. So you'll have all that open to you. You can hire within, you can hire locally, or you can hire outside the community. But it'll be a process, and I will be here to get you all through that. And the new guy or girl will lead us on and hire. I'll join Tom somewhere playing golf or working the farm or tending to the daisies. But yeah, it's coming. I would, it's close. It's getting closer. But it's kind of fun when you do some of these things. When you ask about it, long-term projects like Treasure Island. No, I won't be here for the end of that. I'll be around, but I won't be sitting here. It's a couple years out, 2, 3 years. That'll be for the next person. So it's getting close.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
Items from the board? Do we have a new surface water treatment plant manager?
No, we're getting a new wastewater treatment plant. As a matter of fact, I think today's the 17th. He starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow. Okay. Apologize for that.
We've had several conversations, eager to get started. He still has some other things planned coming up that were already planned, like vacations, but they're small. But he wants to get started tomorrow, and then you'll just get to know the plant, the personnel. We've held off on hiring the assistant supervisor. That person also wanted to wait until the new guy was on board, and then we'll see about that and hiring a maintenance person of the 2 people that we'd like to get out there.
Jamie got a retirement date?
No, what he's told me, personally, is he'll stay around long enough to where the new person is comfortable and ready to go, and then he'll retire, officially make it retire. Now that might have changed over Christmas, but I'm just saying, last time we spoke about it, he was going to stick around and get the new person up to speed and then officially go to retirement.
So how was the party?
The dinner was excellent. Thank you to our cooks that prepared the meal, the cooks at home that brought all the potlucks. I'm telling you, if you could not find 4 or 5 things to eat, off that long table, there's something wrong with you. It was a good time. The best thing about it, well, depends on who you ask. From my perspective, the good thing is it's interesting to get everybody in one area where you get to see people that you've heard names from, but you're at the wastewater plant, you don't get to see maintenance or water plant. From an employee perspective, I will tell you that they will tell each of you, thank you very much for the consideration of the year-end evaluation and bonus. They were ecstatic, and the second most important thing was they got the afternoon off. So it was good. But all in all, I will say that I think everybody that was there appreciated the time spent together for the couple hours that we got to spend together eating and telling new lies and new stories, and it was just a good time.
I was out of town, unfortunately, I wasn't again there. I was there last year and enjoyed it.
Well, I can show you a stain on my shirt from the barbecue sauce if you're so inclined, but it was very good. Tom was there, so it was just a good time. It was very well received, presented, and very thankful. Truthfully, no joking, all joking aside, but very, very appreciative by all the employees of what this board does, the company provides, and it was a good time.
Well, we appreciate what they do also. Any other items from the board? If not, I will adjourn the meeting.